One.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to OutwitOutplayOutpod. This is episode 2 of our brand new podcast starring Kyle Kent, Michael Stallings. Normally, we would be starring Owen Simon, but today we have a special guest with us who is ready to talk all things Survivor 50. Welcome, Perry. Perry, do you want to give a little introduction about yourself?
Hello everyone. My name's Perry. I'm a highly unqualified and highly opinionated Survivor fan. I've been watching for 8 years, since I was 11 years old, and I've got a lot of thoughts on this Survivor 50 cast that I'd like to share with Kyle, with Michael, and with all of you.
Perfect. And just a disclaimer in the beginning, although we did talk about the second to last episode of Survivor 48 last podcast, there will be not a large amount of talk about the Survivor 48 finale. We may or may not talk about them when we go over some of the Survivor 48 people that are on Survivor 50, but do not expect a full breakdown of the finale because I think we all know that the more interesting stuff is the Survivor 50 cast. Um, with that being said, do we want to start by giving general thoughts on the Survivor 50 cast? Michael Stallings.
I think that's a great idea. I think we can all give our initial thoughts and then we can go through some people who I think I think it's a cool idea if we do like quick honorable mentions on who we would have liked to see on the cast, and then we can just go through the official cast now that everybody knows what's
Okay.
out. So I guess I'll start with the initial thoughts. When I first saw the cast, I like taped it on TV and then woke up and then not at 7 but like, I watched it
You
later. I didn't
didn't get
check up.
up? You weren't in the trenches?
I did not, mainly
I
because, you know, as we saw, like if you were a true Survivor fan during the last week or so, you've seen a lot of leaks, you've seen a lot of theories, and it was pretty much exactly what people said it was going to be. So it's like I knew that it wasn't worth it. But anyway, initial thoughts on the 50 cast. I would say I'm like 75% happy, 10% not happy, and then 50% ambiguous about it just because I'm mostly happy to see a lot of people that I'll go through that I'm most excited to see when we go through the people. There's some people I'm like, I do not need to see you at all. And then there's some people where I'm like, I wouldn't have picked you first, but I'm also not picking you last, and I'm curious how you're gonna shape into this season. So, but overall, I mean, this is like my Super Bowl. Like this is like my NFL draft. So I'm thrilled about this, but happy to hear you guys' thoughts.
Perry.
I think we're all psyched. I mean, we're all huge fans, obviously. If you're here, if you're listening, you're clearly a huge fan. I think, I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely a lot of casting choices that have me confused, maybe wondering if there were some better choices that could have been made. But at the end of the day, every returnee season we get, I'm just gonna be happy that we're getting some of these players back on our screens. There's players that I have wanted back for forever. So if we're gonna have to deal with, Aussie a fifth time, that's something we're gonna have to deal with, and we'll get into that later. But I think, as upset as I may seem to be, if I complain later, which certainly I won't do, I'm such an optimistic person. At the end of the day, I'm happy we're getting this season. There's a lot to be excited about here. There's a ton of people that I can't believe are getting a shot to play Survivor again right now. I can't wait to see it. We all need to be reminded of the fact that this is a great thing we're getting.
Okay. I guess I'll give my general thoughts. And um throughout the last 24, 36 hours, I've seen a lot of complaining, a lot of just being like this 50 is ruined because of how bad this cast is. And um, you know, I am here to say that everyone needs to calm down because this cast is just not bad at all. This cast is like generally pretty good. And like everyone would want like all these old school players, half of these old school players, if they were brought back, even a lot of the people that people want to see back, would bring absolutely nothing to the new era. I think that would be extremely boring. And frankly, we kind of saw that on Winners at War, that half of the old school winners that they brought back were complete duds just because they were good when they first played, and maybe the first, second, or third time does not mean they're still good. Um, I think the only problem is the fact that maybe people have their expectations set too high. Um, but with the cast that I think that with the names that some of the names that were being rumored, I was like getting scared that this could have been a really bad cast. And frankly, the cast that we actually got is better than like almost all of the rumored casts that I've been seeing. So I'm very I might have some hot takes about that some people like don't agree with, but I think generally I would say 60% of the cast I'm actively happy to see. 20% of the cast I'm okay with seeing. And 20% of the cast maybe I would not agree with. But I do still think that there's room for them to be interesting. So
Awesome.
those are the yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Perry hit the nail on the head. There's so much to be excited about. I mean, we've had we're gonna have 9 straight New Era seasons. It's really refreshing to see a lot of the old faces, especially combine them with the new era of Survivor that we've seen. But I would love to kick it off with player number 1, because I just watched Borneo for the first time. I know audience at home, it might be, hard to hear that the hosts haven't seen all the seasons, but I'm working on it. I just saw Borneo and I'm actually watching Cook Islands. It's in my background right now. So I firsthand got to meet Jenna Lewis for the first time
Oh,
virtually when I watched her on my television, of course. Um,
wow.
for the past week. So I want to hear y'all's opinions first, just because I have some recency bias, so I want to hear you guys' thoughts first.
I actually rewatched Borneo like less than a year ago. So this is a season that's a lot fresher in my memory. And I will be the first person to say that Jenna Lewis is maybe the person I feel the most both good and bad about in a weird way. I like that we have someone that old school. I think of the Borneo players, she's one of the only ones that I think could actually play a strategic game that could work in the new era. So, I mean, in that respect, I'm not mad about it, but at the same time, having her there just makes me wish that it was Greg Buis, makes me wish that it was Colleen, makes me wish that it was Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Like, she just feels like the person that they got from the old era because they could get her. And I'll be excited to see how she adapts. She's definitely not my least favorite selection on this cast, but she doesn't make me jump for joy that she's here.
Okay. Um this is one of my I guess this might be my first hot take. Um I have not seen Borneo, but I've seen All Stars. Um and this is very much like a hot take. From the first 7 seasons of Survivor, from Borneo through All Stars, of the seasons that I have seen, Jenna Lewis might be the woman from those seasons that I would most want on. I love Jenna Lewis. I think Jenna Lewis was fantastic television on All Stars. And this is coming, guys. I am not an optimistic person in real life. Like, Michael will tell you, not an optimistic person. I will look at all the bad things and like very much try to nitpick everything. But I love Jenna Lewis. I think Jenna Lewis is a fantastic casting choice for the new era. I think she will play extremely hard, but I also think she'll play in a way that like that could potentially work. Um, I don't think that this cast is gonna be like a slaughtering of the old school players. And I think if she can get her footing in a little bit and not be like as insane as she was on All Stars, I think she could do extremely well. I think she's just out of all of those older school players, like I think she has a bigger personality than the rest of them. I think she will play harder than the rest of them. And I'm like, trust me, we are going to get into a couple people very soon that I'm not going to have these same opinions on. But on my little on my little Survivor 50 like ranking of how excited I am for all of them, Jenna Lewis was number 4 out of the entire cast. So I love Jenna Lewis. I'm so excited she's here. I won't go on a tangent for all of them, but I love Jenna Lewis.
Um, okay. Honestly, I did just watch Jenna on Borneo, but I don't want to spend too much of my time talking about Jenna because I don't really know what to think of her. I'm sort of with Perry with the good and bad because I think she's a great character and I enjoyed watching her on Borneo for whatever that she did. It wasn't obviously a very exciting season. And I think she's a decent addition to this cast to represent like the old era, but I think the problem is, as we'll see coming up, that this cast is way, way more skewed towards the newer age of survivors. So I'm curious on how she's gonna do now that it's been freaking what, 20 years since she's been on Borneo, maybe more than that, I think. So I'm
25.
excited to see how she adapts to the severely strategic environment, especially literally watching her, refuse to pretty much do anything strategic, at least on Borneo. But I think it's a good way to pivot into another extremely old player. We went from season one to season two. We've got Colby Donaldson, who was on season two, season eight, and Heroes versus Villains. Perry, kick us off.
Superman in a fat suit, man. I mean, what really can you say about Colby that hasn't been said by somebody already? He was one of the most popular players of the show when it was in its infancy, when it was at its most popular, I mean, ratings wise. And he came back for 20. People wondered if he had enough gas in the tank then. We're on season 50 now. Do we really think he has enough gas in the tank for a good run? Honestly, I'm excited to see it. I might be in the minority here, but I think Colby is one of the funnier people you can bring back from the old era, purely because his shtick in 20 was that he was out of gas. It's been over twice as, not twice as long. It's 1.5 times as long since 20, and he's back again. There's no way he's going to know any of these players. Do you remember when he pulled Candace aside in Heroes versus Villains and said, "Do you know who any of these people are?" Do you think he knows who Tiffany Nicole Irvin is? There is a 0% chance. And you know what? I'm excited to see it. I'd rather have him than Joe, who we'll get into him. But I think if we want kind of like this buff America's guy kind of guy, I think Colby has a funny, unique shtick of being so out of touch and so washed up. He's kind of a unique character in his own way. So I'm actually really excited to see Colby. Even if he completely flops, I think he'll give us a couple really good moments for the time that he's here. So I'm excited for him.
I understand why Colby was casted. I think he'll bring in a lot of older viewers who have been watching the show since the beginning, all that fun stuff. And I wasn't even a Colby hater on any of my prior watches of him, so on All Stars and on Heroes versus Villains. Um, but I feel like there are a lot of better people that you could bring back in this spot. I think there's definitely a world where, like, genuinely, I think every single person on this cast could prove to actually be entertaining to a certain extent. Um, and I've heard that, like, I mean, Colby could have very easily just said no to this season if he didn't really want to do, like, if he really didn't want to play, he would have done badly in his interviews to get on. Like, clearly he did something right. Clearly he wants to be there. Me personally, I'm not that excited to see him on the I'm just gonna every single person we're gonna say, I'm just gonna say what their ranking was on my preseason thing. He's 23 out of 24. And I'm
Wow,
just
that's real low.
and I feel like 24 is like a lot of people will have the same person at 24. So like he's pretty bottom of the barrel for me. I'm not super excited to see him. Maybe he'll get like funny one-liners or something. Um and just the fact that we're seeing Colby Donaldson like play Survivor in the modern day is crazy to me. Me personally, I don't think he's gonna bring anything to the season though. Stallings.
Well, okay. So Colby being, as OG as he is, Immediately when I saw his name in the pool, I'll be honest, my first reaction was, why? Like, genuinely, why? I was shocked that he wanted to come back. I was completely surprised that he said yes. I mean, I figured after his deflation in season
Yeah.
20, he would just, hang up the cleats and then just call it a show. But I mean, he said yes, and he clearly wants to come back. He's a lot older now, and I am really curious how he's going to do because I think that he does have a drive and he actually does have a motive if you look at heroes versus villains to come back and prove something again. So I think this could be a good platform to do it. I would agree with Kyle. I don't know necessarily how excited I was to see him, and it's nothing against Colby. It's just that if I had to pick 24 spots, um, I think I guess we forgot to do it at the start, but we can easily do it at the end, some honorable mentions that we would have had instead of these people.
I mean, we
Yeah,
can
I
say
don't think Colby would have made my top 24 either, but I've kind of just spun it in my head over the past day because I do think there is a really interesting story there that can be told, but there's also a solid chance that he comes back and does the same thing again and loses. And I wouldn't have cast him over some of
yeah.
the options.
Yeah,
We'll get
exactly.
into that.
Alrighty. So Colby, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Not
We
too
will
up.
see.
I'm not optimistic, but it's not the worst person they could have chose. There's that, at least it's a present figure that we all remember. Now, I will be honest. I'm gonna let you two cover the discussion on our next player because I don't know that much about her and I don't remember much so about her appearance on Heroes vs. Villains. So please, let's discuss Stephanie LaGrossa Kendrick.
So her appearance on Heroes versus Villains is hard to remember because she wasn't there for very long.
Sure. Yeah, that was
Um, Steph was one of the most popular Survivor players of all time. I get why she's back. When she was in Palau and she was on a one-woman tribe, never been done before, never been done since. Crazy stuff. I understand why she would be brought back as a legend. What I don't understand is why we're bringing her back after it feels like her natural story arc has concluded. When she was brought back for Heroes versus Villains, it didn't really make sense because in Palau, she was the underdog that rose up just to kind of get squashed. And then in Guatemala, she started at the top, finished at the top, and then realized you have to be kind to the people below you, ironically enough, in order to win the game. And that's a perfect story for her to have on Survivor. So I understand why they bring her back as a legend to have that status, but I just feel like her time was kind of finished. I mean, she tried to work with Colby on Heroes versus Villains, so that's kind of an interesting dynamic that's going to be there, especially because Suri, who we'll get into later, was also on that tribe, ended up taking Stephanie out, and Colby got out Suri in revenge. Which, if the tribe divisions really are old versus new, that will 1000% factor into the early game of this. But so I think Stephanie does. Oh, and Stephanie lost to Suri on Traders also. So I think Stephanie is probably here more for her connections and kind of what she can do to shake up the start of the game. And I think for that, she's not a bad pick. But I think the same kind of thing we were saying for Colby, if I had 24 spots, I don't think Stephanie would have really cracked my top 50 in who I would have wanted. I think she's fine. But, Kyle, like I made a preseason just top 10. I didn't rank the whole cast, but nobody we've talked about so far has really been close to cracking it. We'll get into that when we get there. But Steph, I think, is another kind of like Jenna Lewis. I'm neutral on her. I think it's fine.
So for me, I understand why Stephanie was so popular back in the day, even though I don't necessarily think she was the most entertaining even back then. I think just the fact that she was on a tribe of one person, just inherently anybody would be that popular if you're on a tribe with one person. Uh, And like, sure, like she played a long time ago. I'm not even basing most of my thoughts on her from that because if it was back then, I would say sure, she's a fine pick. But like, we just saw her on the Traders, and like, I could see a very similar run between the Traders and Survivor 50 for her. I could genuinely see her being one of the old school people that make it the farthest. I don't think she's going to have some huge target on her back. I don't think people are going to want her out for any particular reason, but I don't think she's entertaining television at all. I thought she was kind of a non-factor on the Traders. She didn't really do anything from what I remember. And that's kind of where I'm at. I have her ranked right above Colby, 22 out of 24.
Wow.
Which yeah, I wouldn't even say I'm like lower on old school than new school because it's fairly mixed. Um, but I'm not personally excited to see her. And unlike Colby, I think the ceiling for Colby is higher than it is for Stephanie. I don't think Stephanie's about to show us anything that we would be shocked about. Meanwhile, Colby, at least I think there's a chance. Like he pulls something that we're not expecting. Those are my general thoughts, but I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot more to say on the next person. I think that's
Oh
coming.
boy. All right. Since I didn't talk about Stephanie, I am more than happy to be the first one to discuss a Survivor legend, one of the best to never win, Sari Fields. Created almost a slang term of like, I got Sari because it's the only person to ever literally leave the game just because there's no other options when everyone else was safe in game changers. So, Sari Fields, um, I want you to know if you're watching this, I adore you. I think you're a great player,
You're
and I
watching.
think that if you ever want to grab lunch sometime and talk about your experiences, I'd love that. However, Sari is tied for me for the last person I wanted to see on.
Wow. Wow.
Sari has
Buttering her up
played
right before you slam
Survivor.
her to the ground.
Wow.
Sari has played Survivor 5 times and been a great player. And she came on for Game Changers, and she had a poetic story where she started to get a little older, and she had a moment in a challenge where she almost couldn't really do it. And then she ended up getting a standing ovation when she was voted out by default at the final six. Sari then went on to win the Traders, and which I believe was her full circle moment. I mean, Sari has played 5 times, and we're about to be on, season 50. That's that's one in every, 10 seasons?
Not
That's
to mention Australia versus the world coming
Yeah.
up.
and that so there you go. I just
Big
think it's
brother.
unreal. I think Sari is someone who's such a legend at this point. Yes, she probably can do well on this season. Can she win? I genuinely don't think so. I think she's getting to a point where she's too big of a threat now, and she's never going to be able to win immunities out compared to the people here. So I think Sari isn't. It's tough for me because yes, she's the legend, but I just think there should have been other people casted above her that have something more to prove or have something they can bring because Sari, I don't think, has a chance to win this season.
I have a question.
Hmm.
If Suri wins this season, is she the best of all time?
Oh, no. I don't think so. I think we have two-time winners already. I mean,
I
Sari,
think
you can
there's an
make the
argument
argument that
for
Sari
sure.
won one in six tries.
I'm inclined to say she is the best of all time.
There's definitely a discussion to be had. I don't know if I would agree with you or not, but it's her or Tony.
I'm inclined to
Love hate
say
to
if
Sandra.
she
I do
can
love
win
her,
if
but
she can win
she's
with
not
this
number
cast,
one.
if she can win with this cast having the biggest target on her back out of the entire field, it's not close. I think she's the best of
I
all
don't
time.
think there's even I wouldn't even put her in contention. If you want to talk about like, I mean,
Okay, wait.
we're
Before
gonna
we get too off topic, let's just talk about her on this season.
true.
Okay.
Because
Okay, you can
Stallings,
go.
I have the exact opposite opinion of you. Suri was in my top 10. I had her at my number 7 spot.
Mm.
And am I biased? Absolutely. I love Suri. I have watched all of her seasons of Survivor. I watched her season of Big Brother was the season of Big Brother I have watched by
She's
far the most
incredible
live
too.
feeds for. She was masterful on that show. She was masterful on traders. She came into Survivor Game Changers with a huge target on her back and got to Final Six and orchestrated a 3-2-1 vote where she wasn't even going home at the Final Six. She voted in the majority at that tribal before all those advantages got played.
Who was
She
supposed to go
is
home?
so good at these games. Sarah was going home at that tribal 3-2-1.
Oh wow, okay.
But Sari is so good at Survivor. And if she wants to come back, I find it incredibly hard to believe that her spot would go to somebody better than her because of the way that Survivor casts its shows. So I will never complain at Suri. I know she's going to provide incredible television. She went home early in Heroes versus Villains, and she gave us one of the best pre-merge episodes of all time, with Tom and Colby also, contributing heavily to that. But Suri is just always going to be a joy on my TV. Do I think she has a great shot to win? No. But do I think she has no shot to win? Also no, because she's just that good. I am so excited to see her play again. And I know we've seen her a lot. I don't care. Bring her back as many times as she wants to come back. I'll clap every single time.
Um, I am somewhere in the middle of the two of you, but probably lean closer to Perry's opinion. Um, she is ranked 14 out of 24, but I would say like my top 16 I'm actually excited about. So, like I like Suri, and there's definitely people I would rather see, which is because she is 14. Like there are definitely people I'd rather see, but it's like I don't know. I don't think I for somehow like I thought I was gonna have so much to say, but it's like I don't know. Suri's gonna be good television. Suri will be good while she's there. And it's like if she goes out early, she's still the best to ever win. And if she does good, like she's still the best to ever win. Like even and if she wins, I think she's the best of all time. I'm excited to see her. Like out of the six people that played pre 20, the only person I'm have higher rank than her is Jenna. Um, so I mean, yeah.
Can't go
And in
wrong with Suri, man. It's a great pick.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Makes sense for her to be on this season. I will never deny that.
You
I
can't
mean,
get mad at it. Even
I'm
if you're
not. I'm
not
never gonna be
excited, you
mad.
can't get mad at it.
Would I have been sad if she wasn't? No.
It just depends. Like I would
That's
have.
fair.
It depends who would have taken her spot. Would I have probably
Yeah.
True.
would I
Yeah.
have rather seen probably like Amanda Kimmel, who I'm like I probably like Suri more than Amanda Kimmel, but like I would have rather see Amanda. Um, but it's a good pick. It's not a great pick, but it's a good pick. Who's next?
It's just
Oh
tough
wait.
that this season doesn't even have like a real theme. It's just in the hands of the fan.
Okay, but it's like nobody said we were getting legends. Nobody said we were getting new era all stars. I don't know why everyone's so surprised that we're getting a mix of it. Like
No, I think it's very, yeah, I think it's valid. I just
this,
think like
this is probably the best case scenario. I think legends would have been way too similar to winners at war.
I agree.
And I think new era all stars. Frankly, I would have loved to see new era all stars. And I don't know. I think this cast. I truly have zero idea what's going to happen looking at this cast, and I think that's the most interesting part. Like even the people that are being said to be like the most like likely winner picks, I'm also hearing people saying that they're like gonna go out early. So I have no idea what's gonna happen, and we're gonna get interesting people in the end game, no matter who's in the end game. I feel like.
You
Yeah.
know who's not going to be in the end game? Our next player,
True.
Ozzy.
Um,
Not necessarily, but okay.
Ozzy lost, but I mean, yeah, the thing is, I have to make the same argument with Ozzy where it's tough for me. I know the season doesn't have a theme. There's just so many people, Chrissy Hofbeck, Christian Hubicki, Rick Devens, um, I'm blanking on other people, Angelina, Mike White, uh, Emily Flippin, Charlie. It's just so many people that are very much second chance candidates that I get so excited to see these
But
people who played
they're also
well.
all-star candidates, I feel like. Like I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
they're all people who are candidates for, they played really well. I'd love to see them get the chance to play again. So once you see people like that, I think it's easy to get addicted to that second chance mentality. So then when I see someone like Ozzy who has gotten more than enough chances to play, and the problem I have with Ozzy that honestly probably makes me more excited to see Sari is that Ozzy, when we last saw him, still has this mindset. He voted for Brad Culpepper on Game Changers, who all he did was like win challenges and, domineer people with a condescending attitude. Like, he voted for Brad because he likes challenge wins. I highly doubt he's changed much of his Survivor philosophy. It's just going to be totally out of place on this type of season. I just think it's like, he used to be this great jungle boy, great at challenges. I think that era has passed, and I think he needs to hand the torch to someone else. But I'd love to hear you
He's
guys'
washed. He's washed.
thoughts.
I mean, I was gonna okay. I am fine. I think I'm more okay. Ozzy is ranked 20 out of 24. So it's not high. It's not
Ooh,
good.
that's who I thought your 24th was, I'll be honest.
I'm
So
shocked to
now I'm
see who your
curious.
24 is now. I thought it would be Ozzy.
Really? I
That
feel
would
like
have been my
There's another
last if
option
I
in my
made a
head, but
list.
I'll wait.
it's
Yeah.
like pretty obvious, I feel like. But Ozzy's 20 out of 24. However, I, like I really feel like that I feel like we live in a world where potentially when we see Ozzy on 50, he is different than what he was on Game
I hope
Changers.
so. I think we
I
all hope so.
think like
I'm rooting for it. I really
there's
am.
no
I'm
way
rooting for that with a lot of people.
it's been what, 8 years since Game Changers happened. It's like he has had 8 years to hear what the fans have thought about him. There's no way he's just because like he didn't have like when he went on Game Changers, he was still like riding a high. He was still popular after South Pacific. So it's like he didn't know he had to change that. He's now had 8 years of hearing how boring everyone thought he was on Game Changers. He also seems like a very different, like not to bring in Ozzy's like outside life, but Ozzy seems like a very different person now than he was before. Um, I'm like tempted to think that Ozzy could potentially be an interesting character on the season, and just because I don't know what he's gonna do, which is why he's still ranked low. But compared to Colby, Stephanie, like I think the ceiling's even higher for Ozzy. I think he could surprise a lot of people. And if he doesn't, like he's still a legend of Survivor that probably should not have been cast on this season. But if he does do well, he's an even bigger legend of Survivor who then we can just say Game Changers was like a bad fluke.
Yeah.
I have one honorable mention that I think this cast would be so much better if they just replaced
We know what you're
Ozzy.
gonna say.
Do we just want to get into it right now?
Is it Malcolm?
Why did they not put Malcolm on this
Let him
cast over
I
Ozzy?
think all three of us
I
are
Let him
gonna,
mean,
but
come on.
he's probably my number one.
That is my
Well,
number.
it's you literally just have to compare their runs on Game Changers. Why are we getting Ozzy and not Malcolm, who
Oh
was
my God.
so like screwed in
If I
Game
could
Changers?
put
We're getting the
one,
guy that just kind of rode until he got cut. Like
if
I
I could
want the
put
guy that got screwed.
if I could put one person on Survivor 50, it would be Malcolm.
Okay.
And then
I
Sierra
don't know
needs to
about
be,
all
but it would be
that,
Malcolm.
but
No, one
Okay.
I think
person
I
has
he's
think
to
I'm
be.
better than
glad
Ozzy.
that I think we all have that common honorable mention, and I want to get to y'all's personal ones, like that aren't maybe some hot takes towards
Yes.
the end, but
Mhm.
we're starting to get into a new era now because in my eyes, I see like 1 through 16 as an era, then I see like 17 through maybe
But we
like
still have one more. We still have one more old era
I mean, I just said that like wait. I
with
think I'm
Coach.
well,
Coach.
he's season 18, which I said like I think 1 through 16 is like it's an old era in itself. I think the game I think it slightly changes after like fans versus favorites. But in any event,
Gabon, the
our
true
last
game
person
changers.
and
Oh my God.
arguably the only person, and it's interesting. This is one of our only people who he did play a seat. Yeah, it's the only person that on this entire cast besides him and Ozzy, the only people that played in the 20s besides Heroes vs. Villains.
South
That's
Pacific
insane.
represent.
We go from 18 to 32 on Origin seasons. So I'll go last
Yeah.
on coach. I'll go last.
Perry, do you want to go?
I will start by saying Coach did sneak into my top 10. He's my number 10 person I'm most excited to see back. Do I agree with everything Coach believes? Absolutely not.
I
But
don't
is
know what you believe.
Coach incredible, incredible television? Absolutely, he is. And when I watched that reveal video and I heard that eagle scream, I knew the Survivor editors are going to get in their bag this season with editing coach. And with his social media presence, I know he's going to play into it. And also, after him getting absolutely slammed after losing South Pacific, I think he's got a great setup for a redemption arc. It did kind of feel unresolved. Like, I think there's a conclusion that he can reach here. I'm excited to see it. I think Coach could have a really good narrative. I think he basically is, yeah, our mid-era representative because we go from like 12 or whatever to 18, and he's like the also the 20s rep. So he alone accounts for like 5 years of Survivor minus one Aussie appearance, but whatever. Like he is representing such a big era, and I'm glad to have him. And I think he could be really interesting. So I'm excited to see him here.
Um, I feel similarly. I have Coach at number 15, right behind Suri. So like still like the basically the bottom person that I would say I'm excited to see. Um, like obviously Coach is entertaining. Is he like someone like that I like abs is he one of my favorite players of all time? No. But like I can at least understand the fact that he's gonna be good television. And I just think the fact that we're seeing Coach in the modern day is going to be insane. Um, again, I feel like I'm gonna have so much more to say on like the newer school players just because like I don't know. Like I feel like we know what we're gonna get with Coach, and I feel like the only question is how long are we gonna get it? And I feel like it could be very like a very large variety of
I kind of disagree. I feel like Coach could really change because it's been so long and he got slammed
really
so bad for playing the way he played. I think he could really adapt. He's one of the people that have the most faith in to change
ad
from how they play.
adapt to the actual game, maybe. Personality wise, I think he's gonna be the exact same.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I'm excited to see him. I'm very like I think it's not a bad pick. Only reason he's not higher is just because like I don't know. I
Stallings looks like he's raring to go
Oh,
over there. What do
all
you
right,
have to
let's go.
say?
Yeah, give me your thoughts.
No, it's okay. So this will be my hot take of the podcast. I want to warn the audience now before,
Oh
do
boy.
not click off if you disagree with me on
I
this.
don't know if he's gonna say one or
Oh
24.
my God, where are you going with this?
Benjamin Coach Wade is my number two. I am so excited to see Coach. He is just, there's no one like him. Like, Q is the closest I think we'll ever get to anything remotely similar to this guy. Like, if I had to pick somebody if I had to pick somebody to be the wild card of this season to come on there and have no clue what he's gonna do in this environment, that is the man I am picking. That is the only man out of the I don't know how many players to play Survivor. That's the man I want because I truly do not know what he's gonna do. Like I have said, this isn't we already know the cast. I have said it before the idea of him, Q, and Christian Hubicki for like standing at the water well together is one of my favorite images in my head because it's like that is like different
The new
dimensions.
brochachos. Imagine.
Like I can't even fathom the idea of him interacting with anybody that we haven't seen him interact with just because he's older now and it's like he might even be a little more kooky. So we'll see. But I mean, I'm over the moon about Coach. Like I just think he's perfect for this. Like especially with that redemption arc from South Pacific. Oh my God. Like I would love to see him become like a ridiculous villain or just do anything like that. And now Moving on from coach, we are skipping every single 20 season, which I would love to
Malcolm,
hear you guys'
save
thoughts
us.
about because
Malcolm,
I
save us.
am, I mean, first of all, we already talked about Malcolm, but I'm heartbroken for a lot of people on this. I really am. Not one person from 21 through 29. No, not
Uh,
one person from 21 through 30. Damn.
Malcolm, Abby, Sierra. I mean, no one wants Sierra anymore, but I need Sierra. Hayden Moss would have been great. Uh,
He would have been awesome.
Spencer. I don't know what his actual name is now. I know he changed it.
Reedman.
Right,
What's
right,
Woo
right.
doing? Can we call Woo?
It was like meh,
We
but
did
like,
see Wu again.
Oh
uh,
yeah,
It's
actually we
changed.
did. Never mind.
even like I don't even know John Mish, Jack
Greg would have been
Oh my
great.
gosh, actually call Reed. Call Reed.
Yeah,
What's
I
Reed,
Reed
think I
doing?
think Reed.
pick.
Call Reed.
Um, like there's just so many people. The first half of the 20s. Oh, and I need like if we're going for the bigger players that I've played a million times, I would have loved to see Andrea again. Love Andrea.
That would have been a good get.
Um, like I don't know. I think there were a lot of misses there.
I just
But
think it's crazy to have season 50 and you have a complete, and especially when you make
yeah,
a point out of going and grabbing someone from season one and you're gonna miss like completely not get an entire 10 seasons. That feels a little
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. It's
As like normally I would understand some people to play devil's advocate. Some people think like the 20s had a lot of returnees, you know what I mean? So and like had a lot of very poorer seasons with not a lot of characters that should come back. But like I mean Kelly Wentworth started on
Kelly Wentworth. Like
29. Oh, huge.
did
Yeah.
Chaos Cass was on Kageyama.
Have you seen
Like
her Twitter lately?
no, I haven't, but
not
we did. So, yeah, but I think it's a crime, but I mean, we could talk about that all
I feel
day.
like you could still reach back and grab half the cast of Kage and they would make good
You're not
returnees.
wrong.
Like you could
Jatia.
put Jeremiah on a season. Actually, no, that's a
That
terrible
was
example.
probably
That's a
really
bad
bad.
You
example. You could grab LJ. Like, what's he
could grab
doing? Like,
Tasha,
he'd
you
be
could grab
great.
You
Tasha
could
would be fine.
Tasha was so boring on the challenge. I
Tasha
don't need
was
to see
not
Tasha
great.
again.
Jatia. What's
Tasha.
Jatia doing? What's Garrett
Jatia,
doing?
Garrett, yeah.
What's Morgan doing?
All right.
What's
As
Bryce
much as I
doing?
do
Oh my
love the
gosh,
20s,
Bryce.
More.
Duh.
I love
I just
Kagyan, I love the 20s, but unfortunately, beggars can't be choosers. Who we
Yeah.
do have on the cast is Aubrey Bracco, now coming back for her fourth time.
This is another one I hate. Can I
I'll go
start?
last. I'll go last.
This is a ridiculous choice, I think. It's heavily rumored that Aubrey was a last minute replacement, which would make a lot of sense because I don't think very many people were asking for her at all. I mean, her run on Korong was impressive. I actually, when this cast got revealed, I was like, oh, I'm kind of forgot what she did on Game Changers. So I looked into it. She didn't really do anything in Game Changers. She kind of existed and she got to the end, which is impressive given the target on her back, but she didn't really do anything notable or accomplish many moves in Game Changers, which, we could give her a pass on that, but then she returns to Edge of Extinction where she not only gets blindsided by a bunch of newbies, including Eric Hafman. Eric Hafman successfully lied to and blindsided Aubrey. But the edit literally dunked on her for saying the same thing to everyone and getting caught doing it. It felt like the show dunking on her, that felt like a nail in her coffin. I think it's kind of crazy that they even asked her back. It feels like it really does feel like an alternate. It doesn't feel like a great use of a spot. I think there's a lot of people that this spot could have gone to and it would have been better used. I honestly can't even say I'm sure she'll be great because she wasn't great on Edge of Extinction. I think there's a chance we get a Sierra Game Changers run out of her where she overplays and immediately gets voted out. Aubrey is probably on my first boot watch list out of this cast. Especially, we know that Q hates her. That's a funny random thing that happened on season 46 when Q voted out Mariah just because she said Aubrey was her favorite. And Q was like, Aubrey's dangerous. So she's coming in with people that directly want her out. She's probably didn't get to pregame a lot if she's an alternate. She's kind of a dead woman walking here. So I just don't really have a lot of faith in Aubrey. I don't like the casting choice. I'm really hating on her a lot more than I expected to, but
No,
I
let it,
think
let
the
it out
spot
because I think
was a little
Kyle
wasted
wanted to
on
go
her.
last, so I'm assuming you're this. I'm assuming you're here. I'm probably gonna be here, and then Kyle's here. So like, I think I'm happy to go in that order, and I will, I guess, be sort of the middleman so that we can get to Kyle's opinion after Aubrey. I like her a lot. I was gonna bring up the Mariah thing. I think that is a funny little added thing. But I do believe in what you're saying. She had a really strong outing on Cow Wrong. She had a slightly worse outing on Game Changers, and she had a much worse outing on Edge of Extinction. I definitely don't think she's the last person I would have put on the cast because, like, I'm not mad to see her. I like her. Like, where if you had brought up other people to me, I probably would have picked some before her and some
Sydney,
after her. But
Sydney from her same season.
yeah, it's just tough just because like I think a big theme of this cast is like I mean most people here are very very recognizable and very memorable and like although we're pretty big fans of Survivor, like a lot of people might look at Sydney and be like who was
This is
that
true.
again? Like, because she did play a great game, but it wasn't a very flashy or memorable game. Like, she was just a good player on that season. So I'm not shocked to see it, I guess, if I'm having to cope with the way that they casted this season. She's not last for me, she's not first, but I think the audience is now curious to hear what Mr. Kyle Ken has to say about Aubrey.
So I don't think my ranking is like relevant in this spot because my ranking is very middling for her. She's at 11. Okay, like you
That's
hear
pretty
like right
good.
in the middle. Like
That's
11 out of
that's
24,
very
right in the middle.
good.
However, it's just I'm extremely excited to see Aubrey. I think everything you've said is true that she started out good and then got worse. But I think she's a really just I think she's a really interesting person. I think while she is definitely potential, like I agree that she could potentially be on like this first boot watch list. I also think she could be on the winner watch list. I think I think she could do really well on this season. I don't think she's like she came into Game Changers as the biggest threat. She came into Edge of Extinction as a huge threat, but I don't think she's coming into this season with that huge threat. Like I think everyone is coming into this season. Like most people on this season are coming in with a big target on their back. So I think Aubrey's gonna blend in a lot more. I think she's a really good just storyteller, really good confessionalist. I think if she actually wants to be there, which debatable, if she doesn't want to be there, then okay, I'll be less hype on her later. But I'm very excited to see her. I think she could do extremely well. I'm excited to see how she interacts with a lot of these people. And just yeah, from that kind of era of the show, like the not of that like not the 20s era, but also not like the HHH and beyond era. That's like this is probably the best pick you could have got, and I'm very interested and excited to see how she does. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on from here, we actually have all one-time players, which is pretty interesting. And we start off with someone a little bit, I would say, arguably, and I'm more than willing to dispute this on this cast, especially due to some recency bias. Maybe one of the more forgettable and less hype around her players just because I think we've had a lot of legends thus far and I think we have a lot of new era people that are more remembered names. So when we get to Chrissy Hofbeck, I think some people, a lot of casual fans might be like Chrissy Hofbeck, Chris. Oh, Chrissy. Yeah, like Chrissy. Because in my opinion, I guess I'll just start us off. In my opinion, Chrissy is one of the most robbed players ever. I felt before her. I'm not the biggest fan of her. Like I wasn't like oh my God, I love her personality and I really enjoy her. Like, I'm a big fan, Chrissy. I wasn't like that, but like as an objective Survivor fan, if it were me out there and they had just had a season called Game Changers right before it, and then on my season, they decide to tell me at Final Four after I won the last challenge and I'm about to vote out my like one of my last competitions to win the game. If they go, oh yeah, we're gonna give this retired veteran a chance to make fire, and if he wins, he's gonna be at the end with you. I would probably crash out on the island. You would see way worse than any reaction Chrissy had. So I feel for her, and I think she deserves to be here. I'm not like, yes, I get to see her, but like she deserves to be here, and I'm curious to see how she does.
You
Kyle,
want to go?
all you.
Okay, I'll go. I'll go. Um, I okay. When I was at work today, I had a break. I had a break. I ate some food, and I was like, I need like I'm just gonna like be on my phone. So what did I do on my break, you may ask? I went on YouTube and I looked up best of Chrissy Hoffbeck HHH because I haven't seen HHH since I was like quite probably like 10 years old or something like that. And I haven't gone back and rewatched it. So I spent 20 minutes with Chrissy this afternoon. For the first time basically since I watched the show. And I was excited to see Chrissy before I watched this YouTube video, and I'm still extremely excited to see her now. I don't know why people are like saying that she's one of the least notable people. Like she, people have been saying for since her season that the next returnee season, her, Christian, Devins, all those people are the locks. So I don't know why people are surprised to see her. I'm really excited to see her. Another person I think could seriously, genuinely win the season. I think
Yeah.
I had her at like number three or two, maybe two on my like potential winners. And on my actual ranking, I have her at number six. I have her at number six with yeah, so number two that and spoiler number two that's not in the new era. I think I have a slight bias towards the new era, especially like my favorites from the new era. But I think she's a very interesting player. I think she's going to play hard. I think she's smart. I don't think she's coming in with she's coming in with one of the lesser targets on her back. And unless like what Perry was saying about like the Aubrey and Sierra comparison, like unless she doesn't play like that, I think she's poised for a potentially really deep run and I'm extremely excited to just see how she does.
I agree. Now, Perry, you had quite the discussion yesterday with a lot of people about Chrissy Hoffbeck, and you had
Oh, you
one
did?
main concern about her longevity in the game. So I'd love to hear you add that into there.
Okay. Look, I love Chrissy Hoffbeck. She is my number six as well.
Oh,
Wow. She's definitely
I
not my number six. Sorry to
Heroes
ruin the
vs.
fun.
Healers vs. Hustlers was the first season of Survivor I ever watched. I am incredibly biased. I stumbled upon the premiere one day when I was 11 years old, and I watched her fight for her life and barely survive against retired Olympic swimmer Katrina Radke. Okay. And I watched her over that season blossom into an incredible survivor player, a physical threat, a social gamer, and someone who genuinely was very close to winning it all. I love Chrissy. I am so excited to see her. I think she has a real shot to do really well on this cast. I think if she gets a foothold in, she has great social ability. She's an underrated challenge competitor, even though she's older now than she was then. She didn't play that long ago. I think it's great she's getting her shot because after 35, she was considered a locked returnee. Speaking of which, RIP Devin Pinto, another person considered a locked returnee from that season who didn't make this cast. I miss him. Hope he gets his chance. But I'm very glad she's getting her shot. My one concern with Chrissy is I am worried she might get in trouble early because she is on the older side and is probably one of the more unconnected people on this cast. So going in, she's going to have less social connections and depending on who she's on a tribe with, because this is a very physically fit cast, like way better than I expected. There's a lot of people on here that outclass her a lot. So I'm hoping that she maintains her level of physicality and hopefully so, but I am worried there's a chance that she is in trouble early because of her lack of connections and physical ability. But I love her. I'm rooting for her, and I'm so happy to see her back. She's my number
Very
six.
Alrighty. Now, debuting from one of our we have three people to talk about from Survivor
As there should be.
Goliath.
Incredible season.
And I think I would agree with Perry. I think this is one of the only seasons where I would be happy to have three representatives from. I think it's like, one of the best seasons. I think that's pretty uncontestable for a lot of people. And I think, all three are great candidates. But right now, we are starting very strong with Christian Professor Hubicki. Does anybody want to start on Mr. Christian?
I can start. He's my number one. I am stoked to see Christian back on my TV. I rewatched the clip of him in the immunity challenge versus Alec today, and it is just incredible that there is a dude out there who's that smart, that strong, and wants to be on Survivor for some reason. And he's hilarious. Like, he is an absolute gem. I cannot believe the casting directors found him, and they should call him back every single opportunity they can because he's incredible and he's good at the game. Everybody loves him. He's hilarious. His his bromance with the mayor of Slamtown was gold. His relationship with Gabby was amazing. Like his relationship with you know who we don't speak of now was great on the season, and
Oh,
even his like semi-adversarial interactions with Mike White were hilarious, and we're hopefully going to get that again. Like Christian is just a complete bundle of joy. He's honestly a winner candidate, which is crazy. But I'm rooting for him. I don't think it would be the craziest thing in the world on this cast. I think he's that good, and I love him. So I'm so excited to see him back.
Awesome.
so unfortunately, I think he's gonna go out early. I don't think he's a winner contention person at all. But I really like Christian. Um, I'm like finding that these like 30s people, like the older school people that I haven't seen recently, I'm like not having as much to talk about just because I haven't seen their season in a while. But like basically everything Perry said, I agree with. Like not to like he's not my number one. He's number nine out of 24. Um, I'm excited to see him. I think he's going to be entertaining no matter what he does, whether he goes out early or not. But I'm not going to hog up too much time. Like I like Christian, everyone likes Christian, and I think he's a really like. I think it would have been insane if we did this season without him.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with both of you for different reasons. So I will start off by saying, Perry, I want to agree with you on where you ranked Christian Hubicki because that is also my number one pick. He is one
That's
of my
crazy.
favorite Survivor contestants ever. I recently showed my roommates their first Survivor season, which was David versus Goliath, and even they adored him it's just he the second he got out, I think every single person, like when you think of like the next time there's a returnee season, Christian, as Kyle said, is what like was pretty much a lock. Like he was probably always going to come back. He's such a great character. Where I do have to agree with Kyle is I think that Christian Hubicki is not going to be on my television screen for very long, and I'm very sad about
Oh,
it.
ye of little faith,
I
you're a
think I
genius.
think also coming in with his other players from David versus Goliath is not going to be fun. And I think that, naturally, at least I hope that the other players are going to look at like, hey, you three were all on the same season. Like, I don't know if, that I would be concerned about that if I were out there on the island. But Christian Hubicki, Professor Hubicki, he needs no introduction. He's phenomenal. Deserves to be here. We all knew he'd be here, and I'm happy to have him. Now, the next pick from David versus Goliath, another one that I think a lot of people saw coming. One of the most entertaining characters, arguably in Survivor. She's up there in a top list somewhere. I don't know what number it is, but Mrs. Angelina Keeley, Jackets and Eggs. What do we think?
I'm so excited to see Angelina. Another person where it's like I don't like I my memory of her, like I know everything she did just because I know Survivor, but I also haven't seen David versus Goliath in so long. But I know she's perfect television. Um, and she's just gonna be so good no matter what. Here is my take. I said this as a joke to someone. It might have been you, Stallings. Um, at one point I was saying, imagine Angelina Keeley wins Survivor 50. I say that as a complete joke, like complete and utter joke. Like it could never happen, but like it could, like it definitely, like I think it could. If she has any more level of like self-awareness that she did 6, 7 years ago, I think if she like can actually gain respect from people, she has no threat level coming into this. No zero threat level. This is like
Nobody's targeting her.
arguably the least out of the entire cast. Like she could do so well if she's just like do so well. Do so well. I need to reply to a text. You guys go for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Um, Perry, you want me to go next? Do you have any thoughts on Angelina?
You can go for it if you
All
want.
right, also, yeah, just get out of order a little bit. Angelina, boy, oh boy, I will be honest. When I first watched David vs. Goliath, um, I was a severe casual watcher, and I kind of just viewed her as like, oh, she's a little bit annoying, like not my favorite. On the rewatch, I think Angelina is a phenomenal strategist who unfortunately is just, she was put on a season where she just, burned a lot of bridges, couldn't really recover on her social game. She is arguably one of the best people that I think can integrate, especially with this cast as a whole and with the new era people. Because I think Angelina went home. She loves the game, she loves herself, and she wants to see herself do well. I think she went home, learned from her mistakes, and I really do think she's going to step it up this time. I'm never gonna say never. She's not gonna be my winner pick, but like I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like
She's
there
not
are
my
worse
winner
options.
pick. She's not my winner pick. But with a cast where like I'm hearing literally everyone be like, "Oh, this person's pre-merge. This person's pre-merge." 20 different people cannot be pre-merge. And
No, she could easily
Angelina
do
is one
it.
of the only people
Anyone
I'm
could.
hearing like like it could happen. It probably
She's
won't, but it could
she's
happen.
pretty poised to make a deep run, I think, because nobody's targeting her coming in.
Yeah.
I think that I have her at number 3 on my list.
Wow.
I love Angelina on television. I think she's amazing. I think if you've watched David versus Goliath at any time recently, you will understand that not even just her best moments, like the jacket gate and the negotiation, but even like her little stuff, her interactions with Dan when she was begging him to use his idol on her, and he was like, no, and she kept doing it. Her hiding a fake idol for Allison to find just to humiliate her for no reason. Angelina is gold. And it's just like Christian. Her and Christian have essentially been locks for the next season since their season ended that
Yeah.
they could come back for. And it's the first time they can. I'm happy they're here. It's time for them. Like what you guys have been saying, I think she is she's so like goal oriented. You could tell on her last season she's so goal oriented that I'm sure she went home and learned from her mistakes and she is going to be one to watch going into this season. I'm not going to make my winner pick until I see the tribe divisions, but Angelina is absolutely in contention because she's not going anywhere anytime early.
Yeah.
All right. I think just as a heads up for us fellas, I think we're a little over an hour at this point.
We're going really
Um,
slowly.
So
We're
I
going
think we're gonna
Honestly, we'll speed
start
it
to
up.
give some core bullet points, especially now we're getting into the new era where it's like, we did just see that, we have a few more, but like
Yes.
we just saw these people play, so it's more like, we'll just give, and we literally just saw that one of three of their seasons end about a week ago. So the last David vs. Goliath member, Mike White, the White Lotus creator himself. What do we think?
um again, another person in the 30s that I haven't seen their season in a really long time. I really like Mike White. I'm surprised he's on the cast, but I'm excited to see how he does. Um, I think he's hilarious, and I'm really excited to see him. I have him at number 12 out of 24. So
Right in the
that
middle.
right in the middle. Very excited to see how he does. I lean towards it going really well. Um, but those are my general, like I don't have enough to say to keep going on him.
Mike White is my number four. I love him. I
Wow.
love David versus
You
Goliath.
love
If you
that
can't
dude.
tell, I
Wow.
love David versus
It is a
Goliath.
great season.
I wish we got Davey too. I think that entire cast is incredible. I do not think Mike White has a chance in hell of winning this season because he is the showrunner of the White Lotus, and everybody knows that. But he's going to provide incredible TV on the way there, and I think he's got a great shot of getting very close to the end, if not even making Final Tribal Council. So I'm super excited to see all the clips he makes along the way.
Yeah. I think Mike has a real uphill battle against him. It's actually interesting to note that I forgot because he had such a dominant season. He really was pretty rough at the start. He was in trouble at the very start of Dave vs.
Oh, was
He
he?
Goliath.
needed Jeremy to like blow himself up to
Yeah,
survive.
he
Really? I
definitely
didn't
put it. He
remember that.
started from the bottom and then definitely rose up and took control towards the end of the game. But a lot of jurors actually ended up voting for Nick because they felt Mike started playing too late, which I don't think that's even a thing. I feel like you have to play Survivor the whole time.
I heard that Mike kind of just gave up the final tribal, from what I understand, and that he said he didn't really care about winning, and he wanted someone
Christian
who.
voted for him. Something to watch
that is
going into
true.
this
Christian
season.
did vote for Mike to win, so maybe
How do you
he'll
know
pay
that?
that
I don't know how
forward.
you know that.
Wow. Well, that's three people from Dave versus Goliath, which is going to be an interesting dynamic because they all made it pretty far together. Two of them were in Final Tribal together
Mike
and
and
both
Angelina,
lost.
especially, were very close.
Yeah.
Um, but now
Final old era person.
the final old era person. I really think that I don't know where he is on my ranking, but I'm very happy to see this man because Rick Devens, Rick Devens, Edge of Extinction, well, obviously the main figurehead of Edge of Extinction, he, for me, is a very deserving candidate to be here, not only because he's just, great television, was great on his season, but I think it's important to note that like Rick Devens when he got voted out, he came back and had to play from the position he was put in. I am very interested to see a Rick Devens play from a normal standpoint because he was doing that in the early game. He was kind of just chilling there and he got voted out 3-2, in the pre-merge, and then he turned into this, chaotic figure. So I really want to see Rick Devens play where there's so many other big threats around him. So maybe he can play a little more socially and strategically like he had to he couldn't do on his first season.
Okay, so at my break at work, I I used the second 20 minutes of my break to watch Best of Rick Devens because I haven't seen Rick Devens season in a very long time. And he was just as entertaining, if not more entertaining than I remember him. But again, he's still from the 30s, and I don't have that much to say. But what I do have to say is that I think he's gonna be the first boot.
Wow. It's
I
not
don't hate that.
ridiculous to say it.
I don't hate that.
Not
Uh,
ridiculous to say
I would
it.
love to see him do well. I would really love to see him do well. I think he would be so entertaining if he's there for a while. But I think it's not looking good. It's just like the only person he's played with is Aubrey. I just don't know. Like, I just don't see it going well. Even if he's not like one of the first few buttes, I feel like he's always going to be this big target, like probably the biggest target on his back more than anybody else from like the 30s. Yeah, I would say he even has like a bigger target on his back than like someone like Aubrey. Um, but that's my take. I'm excited to see him though for as long as he's there.
So I am probably the lowest on Devon's here, I guess.
Oh, he was
I
number
don't
10 on
hate the guy. I don't hate the guy, but I'm definitely not stoked to see him back. I think if I can make a comparison here, this is a little weird, but if you'll let me explain it, Rick Devens to me is like the Carmelo Anthony of Survivor. He's only really effective, I think, if he's the focus of the show. And he was fun, but when we've got all these superstars around him, I don't want him to be the focus of the show. Like, I don't want the season 50 to be about Rick Devens. He feels like he's being brought back just because, like, sure, he's been a lock, but Christian, Angelina, Q, like, those locks have felt like good locks. Like, everyone wants to see them back. Devens has felt like a lock because Jeff is in love with him. And like I'm not upset to see Devens. He's not last. But I mean, I think he's gonna go home early, so I'm not that upset about the choice because at the end of the day, I don't think I'm gonna have to see him for a while. But I'm kind of just hoping that for the time he is on my TV, he doesn't completely dominate it because there's people here I'd rather watch than him.
Fair. All right. I think we just head into the new era.
We're gonna start off,
It's time.
actually, we're starting off technically strong,
Oh,
but
you're so annoying.
figuratively, as a Survivor player,
I'll
I
go
think
first.
I know where we're going with this. So I'll let Kyle. I'll be right back grabbing some water because I can hear Kyle go for it, but
Oh
I don't
boy.
even really care to hear much about him.
Fire in the hole.
So I am an avid fan of the new era. I think that almost all of the seasons have been really entertaining. Jonathan Young is my number 24 on my ranking. Dead last.
Womp
Quite
womp.
literally, just there's nothing about him that I'm excited to see at all. Everyone else has this tiny bit of stuff where I'm like, okay, at least you might be interesting. I didn't like 42. That's one of my hot takes. And I didn't like Jonathan on 42. I thought he was just boring. I would have rathered anybody else in that endgame win. Like maybe not Romeo, but like I would have rathered so many other people win than him. I like he's just last and he's last by quite a bit. Like I understand why he's back because apparently the casual fan base likes him. I didn't really know that. I did not know that. But like Omar was right there. Omar was right there. So many like it's just a new era people. Some of them that were cut. It's like Tori. Like Tori was from his season. That would have been another great pick. I like it would have been a great pick. It would have been a great pick. I don't need your squeals.
I think she
Um,
is a little bit too out of place on this season. Second chance, great. Like in
Tori
the
would
hands of
not
the
have been the
fans with
pick
all
for
these
50,
legends.
I don't think.
she wouldn't have been picked, but like she's the same thing as Angelina. I feel like just
Oh,
less notable.
Audience, everybody throw
Ooh.
the tomatoes. Everybody
Boo
drop in the
him.
chat
Boo him.
tomatoes on Kyle at
I would
whatever
rather see
time this is.
Tori. I'd rather see Tori than Angelina, but I'll stop talking. Um, there's nothing good to say about Jonathan. I'm like I don't know anything about him as a person. I don't know if he's a lovely person or like a not good person, but I don't care for him on this season, and I hope that he is gone extremely early.
I think Jonathan's only use on this season is going to be winning challenges for whatever tribe our favorites are going to be on. I think I'll be excited for whatever tribe that Jonathan's on just because I think it'll have some like I would love for him to make sure that like Christian or Coach, don't go home early. Like I would love for him to serve that purpose. But I could totally see Jonathan aligning with friggin' with Joe.
Joe.
Like oh my, I could see it being the exact same thing again. So I do I and unfortunately. This sucks, and this might be my hot take. I don't see Jonathan going
Yeah,
home early. I
yeah.
think he's gonna go. I
I
think he's
know.
actually gonna go like into it.
That's the
Probably
worst part. He's gonna
I
go
know.
far.
He's
he's
gonna go
not
far.
gonna go home early because he's not even that bad socially. So like you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, Perry, you go ahead, man.
I'm excited to hear him say Mr. Jeff. I think that's fun. Um,
He
Right.
said that. I don't.
Honestly, the thing I'm most looking forward to is I'm really hoping he does the monkey run on camera again because that's one of my favorite clips from that season is Jonathan doing the monkey run on all fours. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's a great clip.
I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, I think the thing that frustrates me the most about Jonathan is that he's not going to go home early, and the fact that Omar was right there, Ricard was right there, Jesse was right
Hmm.
there, all from those surrounding seasons. We didn't get any of those guys, and we got Jonathan. It just, he doesn't even feel like a bigger name than those guys.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't feel like a great get. I know they want their challenge clips, but it's like if we're already bringing back Ozzy, like we don't need multiple people just to farm challenge clips. Like you pick your one and that's fine. But I just don't really get why Jonathan's here, but I
Yeah.
guess Facebook loves him so much, so
Right.
whatever.
Now, it's time for a very interesting pick for only one reason, and it's the fact that she is one of two winners that are going to be on this cast of 24.
Don't let Jenna Lewis find out.
D. Valladares, Survivor 45 winner. I am going to go last.
So I have no problem with winners being on this cast, as you'll come to find out with the next winner we'll talk about. But like D's fine. I have no issue with D. She's cool. Like she played a fantastic game, probably the best player of the new era.
I would agree.
I just I
I
just
think
don't
that's
think
fair.
I just don't think she's like the most entertaining person in the world. I have her ranked at number 19 out of 24, the second lowest new era. Never mind, third lowest new era girl. I just think if she does well, she's officially a legend. If she doesn't do well, like okay, like she's one of two winners on the cast. I personally think there's so many other people. Like that spot could have been Cassidy's. That spot could have been Cassidy's. Um, and I would have been jumping for joy. But like we'll see how it goes. I don't think she'll be super entertaining. I don't think she'll be a dud either.
So I'm fine with her being back. I do think she's probably going to go home really early, which I think is fine. I think, especially now that she's been on the challenge, she's kind of just playing with house money. She gets the call. She's not going to say no.
Yeah.
I get why they're calling her. I'm not excited about it. I don't think anyone's really excited about it. D's inclusion is honestly the most similar to Cerie's in my mind. Like, people, I haven't seen a lot of people mad about D being there, but I haven't really seen anyone that's stoked about D being there. Which people have been stoked about Cerise, so D's getting a worse reaction than her.
Or
But
even okay, if we're going for a winner, Rachel would have been such a better winner to have on this cast. I feel like.
I'm not very high on Rachel, but we'll probably get into that
I'm
with the
also not.
hypotheticals here.
Oh,
But I think D's a fine pick. I mean, I think there's another person from her season that they ended up picking that's a better representative, and we'll talk about her in probably less than a minute. But D's fine. I'm fine with her. She's probably gonna go early, so I'm not stressing about it. Stallings.
Well, here's the thing. D, dominant winner. Probably, I will honestly, I would need to think about it again, but there's an argument for her to be the best player of the new era. She's definitely up there. My personal problem, and I don't expect anybody in this call or at home watching right now to agree with me, but I didn't need to see winners on this cast, especially not new era winners that
I
we
agree.
just saw. If you want to bring back a winner, I would say
Todd,
bring somebody back from the old
Earl
era
Cole.
that wasn't
Earl
who
Cole.
Todd,
it wore.
Todd,
Earl
Earl
Cole,
Cole.
Todd
Todd.
Herzog. Honestly, like no one else agrees with me, but I think a phenomenal, an interesting
Oh,
pick would
I
have
know
been
what he's gonna say.
Fabio,
Yeah, I know.
just
I know
because
what he's
I
gonna say.
I love the idea of seeing somebody like that come and maybe play a totally different game. But in any event, I did not need to see winners back on this cast. A D1 her season. She low-key got lucked out a little bit at Final Five and she arguably could have won, maybe should
Don't
have
remind me.
there. But nevertheless, she played a great game. I already saw her play a great game. I highly doubt they're going to let somebody win twice, being two winners out of 24. I just think that I agree with what Perry said. I'm glad that our next contestant is on it. I just think we got 12 women on the cast. We've had hundreds of women play Survivor that haven't won. I would have loved to see them get another chance too. Which alludes us to our next season 45 contestant, financial analyst Emily Flippin. What do we flippin' think, fellas?
I love Emily Flippin. She's my number five. I really did not think we were gonna get her on this cast, even when the leaks before we got like the final leaked cast, like 2 days before the official release. Even when the cast was still like being leaked and we knew there was a Lulu female, I was convinced it was Sabaya because Emily had been so firm in all of her interviews that she was not coming back. But I am so happy and so excited she changed her mind. She's amazing TV. I know a lot of people will say, oh, her arc's finished. You know, she went from being unlikable to being likable. But I would argue you can be combative and still be likable. I want her to be back and be combative and still be likable. I think Emily's got a lot left to give to the game. She didn't really even get to fight back when she went home, and I think she's got a lot more that she can show off. She didn't really get to do a lot of advanced strategic thinking besides just voting out Bruce, which not a very strong adversary there. So I think putting Emily, who's proven her strategic abilities, on a cast with some higher caliber strategic players, I'm super excited to see how it plays out. I mean, I think her being here with D is kind of interesting because I think they are on semi good terms. So that, is at least a relationship that she has going into it that she can either use to her advantage or, throw D to the wolves to build trust. But I'm so excited to see her back. I think she's going to be great TV and great strategically.
Stallings.
Yeah, I'll go quick. Emily is one of the out of the last people that we have. Emily's one of two people that I really don't have much to say about. I'm happy to see Emily flipping here. I'm more than thrilled. She deserves to be here. I don't know how she's gonna do. I don't think she's gonna do bad. I don't know if she can win, but like I think she's just a great contestant. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, she's very like base level, like just a really interesting person from the new era who I'm happy is here. I think everybody else is happy she's here. I don't know if there's too much like debate or like discussion to be had about Emily. I think she's just a great character.
Yeah.
Everybody is like, okay, great, she's on.
There is no debate. I love
Yeah.
Emily Flippin. Emily Flippin is my number two out of 24. So excited to see Emily Flippin. Like, I just think her story was so interesting on 45. I think it can continue to be so interesting on 50. And I just think her personality is just so like it just draws me in. And I don't think she's a bad player at all. I don't think she's coming in with that big of a target on her back. I think if she's not super abrasive, I think she could almost be in the Angelina mold, but except like I have more confidence in Emily's brain compared to Angelina's. Like I think it could go really badly, but it could go so well. I think she's so entertaining even whether she's being abrasive or not. Like, this is one of the people for me that it's like, if she was on this cast and she was replaced by some random, like, new era meh person, I think I would be significantly lower on this cast. She's one of the people really, like, keeping this cast, like, in high spirits for me. And I'm just so excited to see Emily.
Awesome. Well, speaking of entertaining, Mr. Kent, we are going to move swiftly onward to, I believe, a person that I have already mentioned before. Literally, we've already mentioned him in previous contestants just because of how much of a public figure he is at this point in Survivor. Quintavious Q. Burdett. What do we think? Perry, what do we think?
He's my number two. I'm gonna be quick on this because
You
Q's been
already
a
had him.
lock
Oh, wait,
for
no,
the
you did.
next returnee season since 46 ended. Big mistake. I love Q. I absolutely love Q. I think he's the best television contestant Survivor has stumbled upon since Coach. Like he is incredible television. He's just insane, but he's not crazy. He's like the perfect measured level of television unpredictable that you want in a Survivor contestant. He has incredible one-liners. He's not terrible at the game. Like he has a strategic brain and his social game isn't the worst, especially if he can see what he did wrong and improve, which I know he's an athlete, so he definitely can improve. Like I know that anyone who can maintain that physique can improve themselves, but like Q is going to be locked in. He's going to give it 110%. Again, I wanted to be quick, so I'm not going to gush too much. I'm super excited to see Q back. He's my number two. I'm stoked.
I'll go quick. I like Q. I don't like him as much as everyone else, but I like Q. He's fairly low on my power, like my rankings, but I think he's cool. Like I just think on 46 there were some other people like Kenzie, Charlie, and Venus who I just liked more and was more interested in their story. But like, do I think he deserves to be on 50? Yes. Do I think he could do well on 50? Potentially, yes. I just I don't know. There was some disconnect, and I've said this so many times. It's like he was a character on 46, but it's like I feel like 6 months after 46 ended, like I just like there was like a disconnect with me and everyone else where everyone was like, this is the biggest player character we've seen ever. Like you guys literally just said. I didn't see it that way. I like he was a big character, but like I think Jam Jam was a bigger character. I think Carolyn was a bigger character.
Jam Jam didn't have an Applebee's meltdown because of his actions.
Like I think Liz was almost a bigger character. Like he was
Oh,
cool. Like he's cool. He's cool. I like him. He's fine. He's number 18 on my rankings.
That's treasonous.
He's number 18. But it's like I'm like he's the cutoff between it's him at 18 and then D at 19. I'm excited to see him. I'm not really excited to see D.
okay.
Maybe he'll win me over. Like he's cool, but he's not that cool.
Yeah, I'm probably Q probably breaks my top 10. I don't know where in top 10. I'm not saying he's 10th. I just somewhere in there. I'm not sure. Christian and Christian and Coach are obviously my one and two, but I think Q is a perfect addition because I just think that like no matter what he's gonna bring like everything and more. Q skirt, cancel Christmas, big mistake. Like it's just
Big
it's
mistake.
easy gold, and I think it's like with a cast like this, it's perfect to put him in there with just like some other people who are known for being a little bit chaotic, a little bit messy, and everything. It's awesome. Um, which leads to two more contestants though from season 46. I guess I'll start us off with Tiffany. Tiffany Irvin. Um, I personally see some argument for her being on this cast. I think she's a decent player. I think she was a decent figure on 46. The problem I think mainly that I have is that that's the third. This is the second out of three seasons that we have. Actually, not if you're excluding Heroes vs. Villains because we have a few people from there, but you know, this is another new era season where we have three people returning, and I definitely think Q needs to be there. And then personally, for me, the next contestant I'm happier to see on there than Tiffany. And I just think she is a little bit out of place on this cast. I hate to say it. I think she would have been another candidate for a great second chance type of opportunity, but throwing her on there with a few people like friggin' Coach Colby, like and then you like Rick Devens, Christian, like throwing them on there with like these big names. I just think Tiffany is an interesting pick for sure. But I'm curious what you guys think.
Um, I agree that Tiffany, out of everybody, like there's on every All-Star cast, there's always like the WTF pick. And I think that she probably is that. But I mean, if Tiffany is the WTF pick for this cast, I feel like that's a good
Not that
sign. It's
bad.
like it's not that bad. It could
She's
be
no Haley
so
Ford.
this is not
That's that.
Haley. This is not Haley Ford. This is not Sierra Dawn Thomas. It's like this is like I like this. Tiffany is like I don't know. Tiffany is directly above Q 17 on my list. Like I'm not super excited to see her. I agree that she probably doesn't. I mean, deserve is like a weird word, but like she played a good game. She played a strong game. She was fairly entertaining. She is overshadowed by, for me at least, a lot of people on 46. But I'm not upset she's here. I think like thank God it's not Sabaya. Like This like that could have been
Random
that could
Tobias stray. What the hell?
she's
Sorry,
the third
Zabaya, if you're watching this.
she's the third boot. She's the third boot. Tiffany played a strong game, fairly entertaining. I think she could win this season, potentially. Definitely a high winner pick for me. Just because it's like zero, like very low threat level compared to everyone else, and a very good player. Like she was like she got taken out in like that like Shan spot, like eighth place, like because she's a really big threat and would win the game if she was in the end. I'm excited to
She
see
did go
her.
home with an idol in her pocket.
Oh, did she? Like, oh, I guess everyone did that season. But
Four in a
like
row.
4 in a row is crazy. 4 in a row is insane. Um, but no, I'm a bit above. I'm a little above like above neutral for her. I like her.
I have Tiffany as my number nine. I'm very excited to see her back. She definitely is one of the stranger choices on this cast. I am more shocked to see if you told me a year ago that Jenna Lewis would be on the cast, I would tell you I'm more shocked than Tiffany Nicole Irvin. So I think people calling her the WTF pick, I think, zoom in. People Survivor
And
seasons usually have
zoom in.
recency bias. Like I don't think Tiffany's that crazy of a person to pull. I think her relationship with Q is great. I think it's almost like a Colby and Jerry type deal where if they're bringing Q back, they're like this is going to bring the best out of Tiffany and the other way around. So I think there's something to that. I think Tiffany also on 46 was such a good like straight man to everyone else's like insane characters that season. Like when Banu was
Not
like,
understanding.
Tiffany, please help me. And she's like, Banu, get up off your knees. I'm not talking to you when you're kneeling. Like that, all of her interactions with Q. Tiffany is so funny. Like when she's surrounded by insane people, I need her on a starting tribe with Coach. I think Tiffany has so much untapped confessional potential. She's hilarious. And I think, has a great shot at going deep this season. Although I will say, I think she's at a really bad spot at being meta targeted because people will know
Yeah.
to look out for the WTF returnee going in. So someone like a Rick Devens could just like hardline straight at Tiffany round one, and she might not necessarily have the connections to survive that. But I'm really rooting for her. I think, she is one of the weirder picks, but I would love to see her do well.
Alrighty. Now, for the last pick from season 46, we have Charlie Davis. Kyle, what do you think about Charlie Davis?
Um, so there's this like I have my top four, and then there's like this from number five to like Aubrey at 11. They're all very interchangeable, but I put Charlie at five. I really like Charlie, probably more than the average person. I think he's entertaining. I've met him in real life. Like I think he's a cool guy. Um, and I think he is like if I had to put money on it, I think Charlie is going to win Survivor 50.
Hmm.
I think he's gonna win Survivor 50. And
Wow.
I wouldn't be upset about it. Like I understand like I personally like even me, was ecstatic Kenzie won, and I would have been upset if Charlie won over Kenzie, even though I understand Charlie probably played a better game. I loved Kenzie and I'm so excited Kenzie won. Um but I think Charlie is coming in with probably a decent threat level, but like a lot of people are coming in with a threat level. Um I think he's a good like confessionalist. I think most people find him not entertaining. I think he's fairly entertaining. Like he's cool. I like him. And if he does well on this season, I will not be upset at all. I'm very much rooting for him.
I'm happy he's back. Well, actually, I'm very on him.
Where
I
is he,
think he's
Perry, on your
fine.
list?
He
Not
did
in the
not
top
make my
10.
top 10.
Womp
He
womp.
probably would have been around 18th, 17th. Charlie is good at the game. This is a fact. Charlie entertaining. That's a subjective opinion. And I personally, he's a good narrator
Yeah.
for a season, but personally, I think Tiffany does a better job of bouncing off the comedic personalities on that season than Charlie does. I think she's better TV than Charlie. So I think if we wanted a third 46 rep, I would have gone with Venus or Maria over Charlie. I think they both would
Maria,
have been more entertaining. People hate
Maria.
Maria, but you can't deny Maria would have been really something to watch. And I just really don't think
No,
Charlie is going to give me much other than being good at the game.
I don't
And
like
I'm
Maria.
sure that's one of my hotter takes,
I
but
appreciate
I
that.
just
Only good
don't
thing
find
Maria,
Charlie particularly great TV.
only good thing Maria did was let Kenzie win. That's the only good thing I mean, she
Um,
played fine, but I don't like her.
well, for me, that's my least favorite part about Maria, and that's one of my number one reasons why Charlie is number one, my winner pick, and also
Oh,
one of my not one of my tops, but I'm so happy to see that Charlie gets to play again. I think one of the main reasons I want him back so badly is just because I I think, although I will always disagree with the concept of a bitter jury, I definitely, felt for Charlie just person to person, Survivor fan to Survivor fan. Like I I really, really just I cannot believe that he lost in the fashion that he did, with not getting
pretty
Maria's
crushing.
vote, and I'm so glad that he gets another chance. I think I do see where you're coming from, Perry, in the statement of like he's not the most entertaining. For me, we have so many entertaining characters on this season that I am happy because I want to watch Charlie navigate again these people like Coach and these people that in Q again and Rick Devens and Ozzy and everybody like that. I want to see someone like Charlie try to navigate that because if we have all legends like that, then it's just going to be ridiculous chaos. I'm excited for a little bit of controlled chaos, but. Next, we're getting to someone that I want to start now because I think that Kyle might be talking for the next 30 minutes about this specific contestant. So, Kyle, I would love to give you the honors to start on Genevieve Mushalak.
I'm gonna calm down. Um, okay. I speak for Survivor Twitter when I say this. Like, like Genevieve is number one. That's Genevieve right there. Number one on my power ranking. She's just she's just like such a good player. So intriguing to watch. Her whole story on 47 was just so good. It's like Emily's story, but better. Like I don't know. Like I can't even explain it to you. It's just like something that like something happens to me when I watch Genevieve play, and it's like I'm not like I like I'm sorry to be one of those annoying like Survivor Twitter people because I typically don't like the same people as Survivor Twitter. Um, but like uh, it's she's just so good, and I need her to do well. I like if she makes it far in the season, it's a success for me either way. I don't necessarily think she'll do well. I think like I think she's coming in with a big target on her back. I've heard some people say like they disagree. But like I feel like I would be targeting Genevieve if I was on a season with her. But like it's just like watching her play is just like mesmerizing, and I don't feel that way about a lot of people across all of Survivor like history. There are very few people out of all 700 people that would rank above her for me if they were on this cast. I think 47. If we needed a season that had three people on it, 47 for me is the season where I would have loved to see so many people back from 47. Andy, Rachel, Genevieve, um,
Damn.
who? Sam. I
Damn.
would have loved to see Sam. I wouldn't have been upset with Caroline.
Oh.
Um, no, Caroline was a great player. Who else is on 47?
No one
We can
else that
stop
we
name. We
need.
can stop naming people from 47.
All right.
Wait, you okay?
Kyle's got his queen on 50. Perry, I think, well, let's see how we feel because I think we're probably not going to be at the same.
Annika. Loved Annika.
Not on season 50,
Not on
Kyle.
50, not on 50, but like that's better pick than Sabaya.
My thoughts on Genevieve. I have her at number 8. I'm a big Genevieve fan, and I usually don't agree with Survivor Twitter either. But I agree. I think she's a lot of fun to watch play. I think her thought process is really intriguing. I love Genevieve. I think she's great TV. Unfortunately, I do think she's going to have a really tough time on this
I
season
know.
because this season, especially for a returning season, has a lot of people that I think are going to be very concerned with loyalty. And I don't think as many people look as brazenly traitorous as Genevieve on this cast, considering she basically woke up one day and flipped on her number one ally for no reason. Not no reason, but Joe might think that, you know? So I think Genevieve might have a hard time getting people to trust her and just kind of breaking in initially. And when she doesn't have standout physical strength, I think she could be in trouble early. But I'm really rooting for her. She's my number eight.
Rooting for
She's
her so
incredible to
hard.
watch play. She's a genius. If anyone can get out of it, it's her.
Happy to see her. Definitely earned her spot on there. And I am excited to see what she does. She's not like my favorite person. We all have our own personal favorites. I definitely would have been a little weirded out if she wasn't on this cast. Like I'll absolutely give her that. Like I think she should be here. I would have been a little iffy if she wasn't, especially with all these new era people. So it's sort of like Emily for me. I think this was the girl I was talking about when I said that Emily and one other person. I don't have much to say. I think Genevieve's an all around great pick. I don't think many people dispute that, and I think that we have there's not much debate with her. So I'd love to go to another person that this is one of the because I'm not as thrilled about a lot of the new era just because I've been so excited for so long to see a lot of like the old era. But Camilla Carthage, I don't know how to say her last name. Camilla from 48.
Carthagesu, right? Carthagesu?
I really now knowing that she was going to be pretty much, unless something changed last minute, she was going to be pretty much a unanimous winner of 48 and also a probably play a perfect game. That sounds like if she got to the end instead of Kyle at that Final Four. I think she's a really interesting pick. The one thing that I don't want to happen is I do not want her to be in the shadow of the next person that we're going to talk about. I am excited to see Camilla, and spoiler alert, I'm not excited to see Kyle because I don't think we need to see that dynamic again. I think that season was based on Kyle won the game because of his secret relationship with Camilla. I think there's no point in bringing Kyle back. I think that Camilla is a great pick. She almost won unanimously. Would have been a great. Get her another shot. Happy to see her. What do we think?
I completely agree with Stallings. I like that Camilla's here. I don't like that Kyle's here. We can just talk about them both at once. Stallings, I'm sure, doesn't like that he's a winner and he's
Of
back. He's
course.
talked about that already. I just don't like that they're going to see him win and fly back out in a week. Like, that's ridiculous. He's not going to do well on the show. Why did he say yes? They're probably giving him a good appearance check. But it also is going to put a dark cloud over Camilla and kind of screw her up. We're like, Camilla's taking up one of these like fallen angel spots that there's always a lot of on a returnee season. Like on this season, Devins, Charlie, her, kind of Genevieve, like those kind of people you kind of feel obligated to put on returnee seasons. They were close to the win. They kind of defined their season. Like if you're going to grab someone from their season, it's going to be them. But Camilla having Kyle here is like if you put Genevieve and Rachel together, if you put Charlie and Maria together, like it's just gonna mess her up. Like it's just something that she doesn't need. I think I would have much preferred Camilla by herself. I think she's a really great player that played with a weird cast that didn't let her do everything she wanted to. I'm excited to see her get to play with real players. And Kyle, I I'm not that excited. I think I've seen his best possible game. He's probably going to go home early. I know Kyle disagrees with me, so I'll throw it to him.
Wait, how do you know I disagree?
You flashed your rankings earlier, and I saw Kyle at number
Oh.
three.
No, I was waiting for like your crazy reaction. Oh, that ruined. I was so excited for that. I love God. I like Camilla too. I like Camilla too. I like two of my favorite people on 48. Camilla's at 13. and Kyle's at 3. I don't care if he's a winner. I don't care. I don't care at all. I watch this to watch my favorite characters, personalities again on this show, and I loved watching Kyle on that show, so I'm excited to watch him again on that show. Like, I don't care if he goes out early. Like, I would love for him to do well, but it's like I would so much rather watch Kyle, who won and I love, than somebody like 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 Cody, who like everyone you guys I'm sure would love to see Cody or Jesse, but like I'd rather like who maybe like deserve it more if they didn't win, but like I find them so much more boring and I just don't like them as much. I base these rankings based off how much I like these people, and and I love watching Kyle. The entire season he was my favorite. There was never a point where he wasn't my favorite. And I just think he's like a cool guy, and I would love to see him do well. I don't necessarily think he's the like
Okay, let
like
me just say one thing. I don't think Kyle's bad at all, and like I know I have my own thing about winners, but that's I'm not even gonna base it off that. Kyle, in the great words of Kyle Flux on the Survivor Conquest podcast, Kyle Fraser is like if Survivor created an AI generated person and made them like it's like let's design a good Survivor player. He's athletic, he's kind, he's very basic. He has this like slight story that gives him like at least somewhat of a personality, but in general, he's almost like this robotic player that just goes out there and goes like, okay, I've built my relationship with this person and I'm gonna vote this person out and I'm gonna stay loyal and then I'm gonna make my move and then I'm gonna get to the end and have a smile on my face. Like, I don't see the appeal of this great personality that
I agree.
like Kyle's this really
Calling
like
Jesse and Cody more boring than him is crazy to me.
I don't care. Cope. Like I don't know what you want from me. Like I don't care. Like I don't care. I think he's great. I think he's great, and I hope he wins. No,
I hope he doesn't, but there's another person that I think we're gonna round out our experience here because we're coming up on 2 hours. I'm sure, and I know the audience is hopefully, I'm assuming you guys have loved this if you've made it this far.
we haven't
Let's
made it this
talk
far.
about the main man himself, a main character of Survivor 48, another person that's joining the three people from one season category, Joseph Hunter. What do we think?
I hate it. I don't want him. Stay home. I'm kidding. He's fine. But like I have zero faith in him to change anything about the way he played. He got a lot of positive online feedback.
Mhm.
Eva got way more hate than he did. Joe didn't
Yeah.
get a lot of hate. He got a lot of support. Like mostly everyone was going to Eva's comments and hating, not Joe's. So I think he is getting the wrong message. I think he's going to do the exact same thing, and I think he's not going to be fun to watch. I think if anything, we'll get a fun episode where, Aubrey will revenge of the nerd. Actually, will probably go first. So we'll get a fun episode where Genevieve and Emily will revenge of the nerds him out or something. And I
Dang.
think that's kind of the best thing we can possibly get. And if we get an Andrew Savage run out of him, he can serve his purpose and do that.
Kyle, you talk, because I got to pull something up for Perry to see after that comments. Kyle, you go.
Okay, we're talking about Joe. I don't care that like I don't want Joe on this cast. Like 21 out of 24. I'm just really hoping he changes something, but it's like the fact that he just played 5 minutes ago. It's like, why would he change something? Everyone loved him on the cast. A lot of the Survivor audience loved him. He has no reason to change anything unless like he wants to actually win, but like I don't know if he actually wants to do that. Um I found him boring. I mean, I don't hate him. Like I don't hate him. Um Kind of like Ozzy, I'm interested to see if he's willing to change. I think Ozzy's probably potentially more willing to change, but I don't know. Like I don't I just wish it was someone else. This is someone where if you put Jesse or Cody on, that would have been a much better pick than Joe. Um but like unfortunately I'm rounding out my thoughts on this. There's these 24 with a pretty low,
Yeah,
low fall.
kind of a gasp
Well,
with
Yeah.
I'm
Joe.
gonna have to agree with you guys. I worry that Joe made it to the end on his season based on his game. I highly doubt he's gonna change too much. But it's interesting. I don't know if you saw this, Perry, but for you to bring up Emily and Genevieve potentially blindsiding Joe, I'm gonna have
Yep.
to turn my background off. Hold on.
All the
Just
immersion
because,
will be
which I know
broken.
the
This is
audience and
tragic.
Kyle are gonna be very sad about that. I have to turn
Oh,
my
Darn.
background off.
no,
But
he's in a kitchen.
there is indeed a TikTok made about Emily and Genevieve
Of
blindsiding Joe
course.
on the
Of
first vote of
course.
Survivor
Oh,
50. Shout
I,
out to Ive Dog if you're watching this.
It's
But
possible. They're not going to put Emily and Genevieve on the same tribe.
yeah, no,
That'd
I
be
wouldn't.
crazy.
yeah.
But I don't think Joe is going to change much. I don't even know how he's going to fit into this season. I mean, there are people out there that I think I could see him aligning with, but I think there's going to be plenty of people that have no problem getting him out. I think that,
I think he could go really early.
yeah, he definitely could. So now we've covered the entire cast. I think we've got most of our thoughts on the season and the players in general. So, from all of us here, I think I've heard me and Kyle's winner picks seem to be Charlie. Perry, who would your winner pick be if you had to choose?
I like to wait until tribe divisions come out, but I guess if I had to pick one right now,
It's Riz God. It's Riz God.
oh God, we're not even talking about the
Who I'd like
49ers.
to say is number 7 on my rankings, and I haven't seen him yet.
Um,
I just know I'm
I
gonna love
think
him.
my winner pick would have to be Angelina. I really think she's going to
Interesting.
get better.
I like it.
I
Alrighty,
really
so
think she's going
now
to get better.
we've got our winner pick set. I would like to hear just from everybody to conclude three people you don't have to name who you'd replace, but just name three people you kind of wish you saw in this season.
And I go.
Yeah.
So Malcolm. Actually, I'm not using Malcolm. Everyone's using Malcolm. Now I don't know who to use. Cassidy, Rob Sesternino,
That's a big one. We can talk about that one because that's kind of
and
insane.
and if it's not Malcolm, it's not Malcolm. Caleb from 45.
Caleb.
From
Oh,
45.
I saw a lot of rumors about Caleb. I really was not
Yeah.
shocked that he wasn't on. I don't know. I didn't
Mr. P.
expect him.
Mr. P.
I I wrote down a lot of people, so you're gonna have to give me a little bit of grace. I'll cut it down to a few though. My biggest old era misses, Sean Rector was someone who I was really looking for on this cast all the way back from Marquesas. He was big in getting the diversity mandate passed, but
Mhm.
this cast didn't even meet the diversity mandate, so I guess that explains why he might not be on. Amanda Kimmel was obviously heavily rumored. She would have been amazing. The rumors are that she dropped out because Ozzy was on the season, which would make me hate Ozzy's inclusion even more. So hopefully that's not true. Another person that I think is kind of in that class of Chrissy, Christian, Angelina, Devins that I'm very sad we didn't get back because it means we're
Dom
probably never seeing him again is
Dominic.
Dominic.
Yeah.
I really would have loved to see him on this cast. I think he would have fit right in, and I'm sad that we didn't get him because I really don't think he's going to get another shot.
Yeah.
So that sucks. On the new era side of things, Jesse is an insane snub. I can't believe he's not here. Like that's incredibly shocking to me. Carolyn, obviously, maybe because of traitors, we don't know about that, but that's
Stallings
what
hates
I'll leave it at
Carolyn.
for me.
Stallings hates Carolyn. I think Carolyn being on this season.
Regardless of how you feel about Carolyn, though, she
No,
was huge.
no, I
Like,
know. She 100% should have been on. I love her. One of my favorite people of the new era.
oh, and also I will say I would have preferred Marianne over D. I think she would have had a lot more to prove on a second go around.
I would have been about the same. I would have rathered Erica.
I
Oh, her actually also.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I interestingly replace three. I'm not replacing anybody in particular. I think if you go by context clues of how I rated the men in this episode, I have three male picks. And I don't care if they're basic. Number one, I don't care. I wanted Malcolm on this season. Like we all said it. I'm just gonna say it because nobody else did.
Replace Ozzy. You can say it. Replace Ozzy.
Probably. Number two, already taken, but Jesse Lopez. I just cannot
He
believe
has to
he's
be
not
here.
on this.
Replace Joe. Replace
Yeah,
Joe.
well, all right.
Yes,
So replace Joe with
yes.
Jesse
Or
Lopez.
Jonathan, either of them.
Finally, somebody that only got mentioned once in this episode, but is one of my favorite players of all time. Reedman Bledsoe, used to be Spencer. I love that individual. I love watching him every single time. I think he would have been a really cool addition to this cast because he's in there in the 20s, and I think he's a mixture of like, he's a little bit of an older player, but he's also got a somewhat of like the new era strategic thinking mentality, and I just would have loved to have him back. But it has now been 2 hours, so I am going to go ahead and say that the audience and us three have collected a lot of information and a lot of
Absolutely.
opinions on Survivor 50. And so I will just say, Perry, thank you for being here. Kyle,
Pleasure to be
thank you
here.
for co-hosting as always. And audience, thank you so much for listening. We are probably going to figure out what our next episodes will look like soon. I think we have a lot more opinions on Survivor that we can dish out, and that I think it would be interesting for the audience to know what we think about seasons, winners, certain twists, and everything in general about Survivor. But so we'll
And
see.
even potentially Big Brother.
And that's what I was gonna say next is we got Big Brother coming in July. We're currently filming this on May 29th. So, after a few of those episodes, I think Big Brother would be a great addition, get some other guests. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next episode of Outwit Out Play Out Pod.